I just got a quick question for you while you're on that note. Do you think anyone in the crowd will recognise you again from our podcast?
Oh, mate, with a face like this, it's like spotting a movie star in the crowd.
The height of fame when you get recognised off the podcast.
So. I think so. I'm quite chuffed, actually. Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of A Beer with the Brewer. Matty, how are we today?
Good, mate. Good. Always good to be here with you on a Friday afternoon.
Mate, isn't it delightful?
Talking about beer.
Coming into spring as well, absolutely. Well, it is spring, isn't it?
Spring has sprung.
Spring has sprung. Great month as well, September, isn't it?
Very good month. Couple of very important people born in September.
Yeah. You?
Yes, of course.
Yeah. And me.
Oh, you as well.
So great September. Probably know what the parents are doing on New Year's Eve.
When's your birthday again?
You know, you bastard. So we are back today, springtime, the favourite beer of last summer and spring. We've brought it back, the Mac. The Mac is back.
The Mac is back.
The Mac is back. The Mac is back. So, Matty, let's rip into this one. So, I guess the previous ones of this have been slightly different. We've gone for a full wrap this time to kind of go along the lines of our sour series. Previously, we did just have the strip label down the bottom. But now we've put a little bit of flair onto it and let it join in the series of that. And, oh man, this looks good. And it smells good. Holy cannoli. If you love mango and you love mango Weiss,
looking very nice.
You want to bathe in this.
So once again, shout out to Verg for the next installment in the sour series.
That is so good. That is so good. All right, tell us a bit about this rendition, I guess, the latest one. How you may have differed previously from previous ones.
Brewing a beer like this, or any sour, they're always going to be a little bit different.
Yeah.
It's sort of the nature of the beast. Going through the souring process, we're using largely fresh fruit, which is seasonal.
Yep.
So to try and match it to the previous one can be challenging. And again, you're always trying to improve it as well. So I think this is the fourth time we've done it.
Yep.
And I think this is almost the best batch.
I'm definitely getting
So we canned this yesterday, super fresh. I also think it's our biggest production run we've done on our own canning run. So
yeah, 400 cases, I think.
400 odd cases, so that's good. So the mango is super fresh, obviously only being a day in can.
Yeah.
The coconut, I think in this one, the coconut's really balanced.
Yeah.
When we transferred it down a couple of days ago, obviously it's mango-y, and then I put the coconut into the tank and it really boosted it, and I thought it really made it taste like the Weiss bar.
Yep.
Before we actually made this beer, I'd never had a mango Weiss bar, would you believe?
Victorian.
Being a Victorian.
Bloody Victorians.
So we made the first batch and then I got to try the Weiss bar. I'm like, oh yes, this is pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think this one has really nailed the Weiss bar flavour.
I really think it has as well, and like you said, that coconut comes through, that kind of, I guess the mouthfeel at the end when it just sits in your mouth, you kind of get that the meatiness of the coconut coming through, and also that oiliness and that grittiness kind of the macadamia nut.
Yeah, I think you get the macadamia on sort of the back of the palate.
Yeah, and just as it sits when you finish, you can kind of really taste it coming through those notes as well. So you get the sweet mango and everything like that at the start of it. Then you get that tartness and the sourness, which is really, really balanced in this. You could even say it's nearly not there. Like it's just super balanced through that whole thing. And then that coconut and the macadamia nut kind of come through, wafting if you don't drink it too quickly, at the back of the palate. And that is just sensational. This one, I reckon
think,
you nailed it with the best rendition.
We've mentioned it before how we actually sour the beer. We've run a culture here, our house or mother culture.
Yeah.
And then use it into the beer, collect it, and then use it again into the next beer.
Yep.
This particular culture has now been used in maybe 4 beers.
Okay.
And as it sort of goes on, it
Matures. Gets
it
more
almost
efficient
becomes
or something.
stronger.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it can sort of mutate a little bit or pick up different bacteria or sometimes yeast.
Yep.
The previous culture to this, we noticed it had picked up a little bit of yeast, so we dumped that and started again.
Yep.
You don't really want yeast when the beer's souring. But in brewing this one, it dropped down overnight to about 3.5, 3.6 pH. And then brewing the second batch, you basically put it on top of the end of the culture from the night before.
Yeah.
And it ripped down to nearly 3.3 overnight. So for people that understand that, that's actually soured really quickly
Really
and
quick.
efficiently and created a really nice balanced acidity.
Yep.
So the culture is sort of up and running, it's healthy, it's doing its thing. We collected it, and this week we've brewed another sour with it, so keep that going.
Yeah, definitely.
Which is sort of cool that you can sort of keep your unique house culture rather than dry pitching it every time.
Yeah, definitely. And you said it soured really kind of quickly. Is there any kind of detriment or different flavor profiles that come from having a longer sour process? If the
If it
bacteria
goes over
are
a
little
certain amount of time, it can start to create off flavors. So the quicker the better with souring.
Yep.
So if it's ripping down in 24 hours, well, that's awesome.
Yep.
That's sort of what we want. It's doing
Yeah,
it
okay.
efficiently. It's creating all the nice, clean lacto flavors we want. And then it's done. So almost the quicker the better.
Yep.
So the healthier. With the sours, I'm always amazed by how efficient the bacteria and how quickly it can work.
Yeah.
Yeast wouldn't survive in the same conditions. With yeast, you might store it cold for a week or 2 at best, and before you can reuse it. And after that, it really loses its viability and vitality.
Yep.
Whereas the culture, sometimes we collect it and then don't use it for 6-8 weeks, pitch it into the beer or the wort, and off it goes.
Yeah, wow.
It just basically wakes up and
Yeah.
does its thing. So lies dormant, cold in the fridge. So for anyone that's been to the chemist and see the little cultures they have at the front of the chemist near the counter,
Yep.
that's basically what it is. So they keep it cold in the fridge. We're doing the same thing with our culture. Pitch it and off she goes at the right temperature and right sort of conditions, and then rips down and creates all those nice sort of the acidity and clean flavors that we're after.
Yeah, well, fantastic. Well, it's ticked all the boxes this time.
Yeah, it's really well
absolutely
balanced, this one. So
Beautiful, absolutely beautiful.
the other thing we did with this batch, because the beer is obviously full of fruit, I carbonated it a fair bit higher. So swirled a bit. It is carbed, but it doesn't hold a lot of foam.
Yeah,
We've spoken about foam before.
definitely feel it on the
This
palate
level
when
of
you're
fruit
drinking.
is definitely foam negative, so it's very hard for it to keep that white head.
Yeah,
So we actually carbed it to 2.8 volumes, that's quite high in beer terms. So on canning it, it was a little bit temperamental, but then it's going to be a lot more vibrant in the can and while you're drinking it. A lot more spritzy and sort of boosts the flavors.
yeah, definitely.
Lifts
It
the flavour.
definitely has that spritziness on the palate. Oh, fantastic. Well, this will be out in trade very, very shortly. I think a lot of it has already been pre-sold also because it's just an absolute banger and everyone loves every time we do it. We'll also be having this on tap at Crafted down at Broadbeach. Fantastic festival there. It's going ahead on the 11th of September. So come down and visit us at our tent. We'll have the Mac there and we'll have a couple of extra Revel beers there.
Is there any
It's just
chance of roaming
fantastic.
Matty at the Crafted Festival?
Oh, you never know. Roaming Matty.
We'll have to see.
Wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah, might have to make a cameo.
Yeah. That's actually a bloody good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, guys, if again, get into your bottle shops, get this nice and fresh, absolutely sensational. If you have had it before on multiple times, every time that we brewed it, you'll definitely go along that journey with us, listening to the podcasts and everything like that. So let us know how this one comes up. Slightly different, but I think this is probably the best one that's come out so far. So
I just got a quick question for you while you're on that note. Do you think anyone in the crowd will recognise you again from our podcast?
Oh, mate, with a face like this, it's like spotting a movie star in the crowd.
The height of fame when you get recognised off the podcast.
So. I think so. I'm quite chuffed actually.
Yeah,
it was good. It was good.
We'll see.
So if you do recognise me, come up and I'll
shout you a mango.
Shout you a mango. We'll see. There might be 1,000 people there getting shouted mangoes.
Wow. Your popularity continues to grow.
I know.
Well, we'll after you shout 1,000 mangoes.
Yeah,
anyway.
definitely, definitely. All right, guys. We'll see you at Crafted, and we'll just continue finishing this off on an absolutely beautiful Friday afternoon, looking across the river.
Yes.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Cheers,
Cheers,
everyone.
guys.
All right, guys, we're back here with part 2. We've just finished the beers and we thought it would be a good segue doing the mango to come back and revisit just a little array of the sours that we have done this year, I think. So we've tried to, as you can see by the can designs, we've tried to do everything in a similar series. And so these are the 4 that we have done so far, and we've got a couple more coming in at the end of the year. So I think running off the back of the first mango, we did the pina colada, and then the traditional lemonade.
Yep.
Then the raspberry and pineapple, and now we've redone the mango macadamia in this branding. So, Matty, tell us a little bit about how these beers came to.
Sure, absolutely. We probably should crack one while we discuss.
Oh yeah, here's one that we've
one we prepared earlier. It is called a beer with a brewer.
Certainly. So traditional lemonade, this one, really nice, a cleansing ale.
Certainly is.
Beautiful.
Cheers.
Cheers. Oh yeah. Zesty.
Yeah, so as you said, obviously it's becoming part of a series now.
Yep.
We've done sours almost since we started. So the first one being the Strawberry Wishes.
Yep.
We haven't done that one for a little while. And then we sort of branched out. We've done the mango. We've done a couple of other one-off sours. We did a sour for Gabs. The Berry Delight.
Berry.
7%
That
sour
was
with lots
delicious.
of berries. Very delightful, that one. We did a collab with Zero Fox, Ginger and Lychee.
Ginger.
That one was keg only though, so it didn't
Done a
get
fair
cooled.
few
But yeah,
gozes as well.
we have along the journey. So as we go on, this is sort of what it's becoming, the sour series. And then obviously each beer sort of needs a concept in the first place. So some of them, inspiration from an ice cream, from a soft drink, from a cocktail, what someone remembered from their youth. So we've got the lemonade, so we'll talk about this one first.
Yep.
So for me, it's sort of based on the traditional lemonade, sitting out with your stall, 50 cents for a cup of lemonade.
Absolutely cleaning up to go down the shop and buy some lollies.
So you come up with these ideas and then you think, oh, how am I actually going to turn this into a beer?
Yeah.
Luckily, we've found a couple of pretty good fruit suppliers. Yeah, but there's always a fair bit of research involved in how you actually turn it into what you're saying on the label.
Yeah, definitely.
It's really important with a fancy label. It actually does what it says on the can.
Yep.
So you're not going to call it a lemonade sour and then it tastes nothing like that.
Correct.
So with this one, yeah, like we said, the 50 cents for the cup of lemonade. It's full of lemon juice, also lime, and then just a hint of mint, a sprig of mint.
Yeah.
So this one I really wasn't sure about. The initial idea was to make it a lemonade icy pole, and I thought, no, it's probably going to suit better as a lemonade.
It was that sweetness concept that kind
yeah,
of
I
was
wasn't
like,
sure
how
how
do we
we're
do
quite gonna do that with a sour.
properly?
But with this one, both lemon and lime are already acidic.
Yeah.
So it's hard to get the balance and not make it too acidic, so it's unpleasant to drink. So
But actually, the actual sweetness of the citrus, the limes and the lemon come through really nicely on this, don't they?
yeah, you really need that to balance it. Otherwise, it's just going to be too sour.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this one come out pretty well.
Yep.
And then
Delightful.
the pina colada. So everyone loves drinking pina coladas
Yeah.
in the rain.
Yep.
So this one was an obvious one. Let's make a favourite of ours, a cocktail.
Yeah.
We enjoy drinking pina coladas.
Mm-hmm.
So had to source the pineapple, coconut, and then there's also an element, you sort of want to make it, give it that rum flavour.
Yeah.
So that was a bit of a challenge getting that one into it. When we soured this one, it was interesting. I'm pretty sure this was the batch I spoke about before that we picked up a bit of yeast in the culture.
Yeah, you
that
did.
actually gave the wort, I guess, a bit of a funk to it.
Yep.
So tasting it, I was like, oh, this one's picked something up. But it actually suits the pina colada because you think of the rum, the pineapple, they're almost a little bit funky.
Yeah.
So it almost tastes as if it's picked up Brettanomyces or something like that.
Yeah.
And it's got like that sort of funky, one of the flavours Brettanomyces can give off is pineapple.
Yeah. Okay.
So it sort of suits it perfectly.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
So if it had to pick that up, but it was in a different beer, it may not have worked as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in the pina colada, it really come out well.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely.
And then the next one, the raspberry,
Skim dog.
that was Skim Dog. So that one was sort of designed on a pretty well-known icy pole,
Yeah.
the raspberry and pineapple. Yeah, that came out. The raspberry in that is super nice.
Yeah.
And then the pineapple is a little bit in the background, but yeah, that has come out pretty well. What
Yeah,
we're aiming
that's
for.
that's been up there with popularity with the mango. That I think exceeded all our expectations. We're doing the trials of the raspberry and things like that, and how to balance it out.
Yeah,
and
that's right.
what types of raspberries to use and the flavour profiles on that to basically scale it up into a larger one. And we were like, oh. Some was hitting the mark, something was hitting the mark, but something wasn't. But for it to scale the way it did and to produce what it has and come out like it has, it's fantastic. And it's a beautiful colour, beautiful aroma, and just really super nice, really punchy in that raspberry flavour. And yeah, it's been going fantastic.
They do, from the concept in your head to actually turn it into a beer, there's a fair bit of work.
Yeah.
And something like that, it takes a bit of research. So getting in, doing a few bench trials with different concentrations of raspberry, different types of raspberry, to actually nail the flavour profile in the end. So yeah, it's cool to actually first have that idea, cool, let's do this, and then to actually have it reasonably close to what you're aiming for.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it?
Because we're basically, to a degree, winging it.
Yeah.
Because we're brewing 7,000 litres of these beer.
Yeah.
Like you really, there's not a whole lot margin for error.
No,
You want to sort of nail
exactly.
it.
And like we've said in other podcasts and everything like that, it's all natural ingredients. So seasons change and profiles of everything change. So it's always an evolving type of way to make the beers and using those ingredients. And I guess if you're doing a one-off, it's slightly a little bit easier because you don't have anything to benchmark it against. But when you're continually repeating and using it, and everyone out there would have noticed that through our different renditions of the mango, using these different types of natural ingredients, as you're always going to get small variances, and it's how to kind of use them and appreciate them also in different batches that come out. So.
And then this week we can probably give a bit of a teaser to what's next.
Mm-hmm.
We had you in your boots on the brew deck.
In the boots.
Had the boots on.
Got the boots on.
Got the boots dirty.
Got sweaty.
So that was good. So we brewed a margarita gosa.
Yes, we also do like drinking margaritas.
Well, yes.
I don't know.
Who doesn't really?
I don't know much that we don't like drinking. But yeah,
Well, that's your concept. So where's the idea come for that?
over a couple of margaritas. I think it's just obviously drinking the sours over a long period of time and seeing what you can produce out of them. I was just like, well, I think you go through the concepts of the different flavor profiles, you like the sweetness, the bitterness, the sourness, the saltiness, those types of things, and you go, well, how can I make, what type of beer would suit something like this? So we've gone down the road of doing a goza. So it has that saltiness to it, like the rimmed glass, and then obviously you've got your limes and your lemons in that, and also a nice hit of tequila.
Yeah.
So those base flavor profiles would really work well with that style of drink as well. So
Yeah, I think
trying to capture
with that one,
across.
you've gone for a goza because of the salt profile.
Yeah.
It is still a kettle sour. These are all Berliner Weiss as a style, and then we've used the goza for the margarita because of that saltiness that you sort of associate with a margarita.
Yep.
And then similar to the lemonade, it'll get some mostly lime, a little bit of lemon. It may even get a little bit of orange for the contro.
Oh yes.
We managed to source agave. I quickly flew over to Mexico and cut down 100 cactus and milked them.
How are they the milk? Prickly.
You have to wear gloves.
Yeah. And warm hands.
Yeah. Managed to make it back there.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, it's always dangerous going into those agave fields in
100%.
Mexico.
You never know. You might be buried under one.
Yeah. But yeah, so that'll go into the beer. Tequila, as you mentioned. Yeah, so I'm definitely looking forward to that one in a couple of weeks.
100%.
I think there's whispers of having a little margarita tent up on the hill, but
Maybe.
we'll see what happens.
A nice Friday afternoon.
Maybe a mariachi band.
Mariachi band. A couple of dancing horses.
Oh, perfect.
Up on the hill. Might do the podcast from up there.
Oh, why not?
That'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Sunset in the background.
Anyway, I'm probably getting carried away.
Yes. All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us on this one. This is our sour series, and we're going to continue growing this over time. I mean, if you guys have any concepts that you would like to throw up for us to consider and have a look into doing something like that, more than happy for you to throw some ideas around. And yeah,
They may even get considered by the brewer. We'll have to
maybe
see.
it's a bit of a hard task.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, get out there, enjoy these when they come out. The mango's back.
The Mac is back.
The Mac is back. The raspberry has been so popular, so we might bring that back maybe start of next year or something like that for everyone. But yeah, continually growing our sour range. So there's going to be something always around for everyone. So Matty, Friday afternoon, cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Nice zesty lemonade sour. Cheers to everyone out there. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.